This is the Elysian Diva, one of the highest regarded IEMs when it comes to vocals. But before you go and grab one of these for yourself, there are some major flaws that you should know or you'll end up like me. But first, let's talk about the vocals. They sound absolutely angelic, natural, airy, full of details. Is it the best? Kind of. Depending on the switch or the dial, the tuning can be anywhere from a neutral bright all the way to a good amount of sub-bass boost. Now usually high frequencies absolutely destroy my ears, so I was really relieved that I didn't waste my money, right? But before I rip it to shreds, let's talk about the stage first. It's very open and you can definitely feel the airiness with the vocals sitting at a comfortable distance without sounding harsh or too sibilant. Female vocals have a sparkle and dazzle to them like a diva, and they extend beautifully without sounding harsh or thin, unlike Moondrop. They're ever so slightly forward leaning so it doesn't sound like the notes are flying off. They're fairly smooth dynamically, keyword fairly. Some people have claimed the divas have the best vocals, and I would agree. Add mid volume, because as soon as I start cranking up that knob, that's when shit starts hitting the fan. For example, Say It by Yorushika feels too energetic and bright at higher volumes. The electric guitars have a lot of bite that takes away your focus and immersion from other elements in the track. For example, her voice that's already a little bit light and hard to hear to begin with. I would just be chilling, listening to Titanic Rising, but then a different song comes on, let's say Runaway by Carly Rae Jepsen, and the song is produced differently, so Carly is positioned further away with more energetic instruments, and her voice is also lighter and thinner and higher pitched. But because the production of Runaway versus Titanic Rising is so different, more energetic instruments like electronics and cymbals are now too lively and sharp and takes me right out of the immersion when I'm at higher volumes. Okay, so just turn down the volume, dumbass. Well, no, dumbass, because now the vocals are harder to pick out again. So after readjusting back and forth, rinse and repeat, I just end up sitting there and accepting the fact that I'll never find that balance. Now, to be fair, this doesn't happen on every song. For example, I could listen to Taylor Swift, Adele, Lana Del Rey, with no issues without even touching the volume even once. But other genres and artists like The Weeknd, K-pop, and J-pop does get fatiguing because of the extra upper mids energy. So yeah, you can definitely crank it up on some songs, but on certain tracks, you're just gonna destroy your eardrums, and we need those. And of course, I tried the different dials, with the blue one being my favorite because of that fat sub bass. But even with the blue dial, I couldn't listen to Yorushika past 70% on the BTR7 or around 80 to 85 dBs. This is mainly caused by the extra emphasis in the upper mids as well as the lean mid bass, which doesn't help. For a quick comparison with the Dark Magician, the Diva is basically a cleaner, airier, and more sharper, more technically proficient Dark Magician. Is it worth the extra $1,000? Now, vocals aside, how are the Diva's technical capabilities and can it compete with the big boys? It's pretty good. Great even. Separation, clarity, resolution all competes with the big boys like the Mess Mark II, the Monarch Mark II, SA6 Ultra, and even to a degree the U12T. So definitely not a slouch, and what you expect for $1,600. Holy shit.
Emotional damage.
Resolution is not only sharp but also clean. I've never heard piano notes and guitar strings so clear before without them artificially boosting the treble and making it just harsh. It's both airy and sharp, but without overdoing it. The best analogy I can think of for the Diva is that of a sunny spring day. The mid-range is very crisp and clean, like right after it rains, but also has a hint of sparkle from the treble. This is what endgame mid-range should sound like, U12T. Get that scoop out of here. Cymbal strikes on songs like Model are airy and lively, but not forward and in your face, which allows the notes to fully extend without sounding sharp, harsh, or overstaying its welcome. The micro details and airy treble from the Diva, combined with its open staging, creates this comforting but still engaging presentation. Continue with the analogy, it's like the spring sun. Gentle but still bright. In other words, the Diva is dazzling but without the extra flashes and fatigue that comes with it, and it's perfect in my opinion for indie bands, acoustic ballads, and that would be my recommendation. But don't get it twisted. The RS5 is still my #1 guy when it comes to vocals only. For a quick comparison, both have very different presentations when it comes to vocals. The RS5 is way more intimate, forward, powerful, whereas Diva is more airy, laid back, energetic, but still hits the spot, but just not as hard. For an analogy, the Diva is like sunbathing and the vocals are hitting you from a distance, whereas the RS5 is like, bro, you're literally in the sun, you should probably get out. Vocals shoot into you and it feels like you're getting hit by a beam of light. When I first heard the Diva, I thought it was just an airier RS5 with better technical abilities, and I was like, oh my god, did I just find my endgame? And then the bass came on and I was like, oh no, what the f? Okay, so here's where things went downhill fast. You see, the Diva is like the crazy hot chick you want to date. After years of chasing, or more accurately in this case, saving up, you guys finally start dating. Things seem great at first and you guys are having a fantastic time, but one day you accidentally hit shuffle and that one song with a ton of bass comes on, and that's when you realize she has severe channel imbalance and bad clipping as well. Now, to be fair, the clipping varies on the type of source you have, the cable, but it's very inconsistent, just like a crazy hot chick. Initially, it sounded like this, but after crying and then giving it another shot on a different source and cable, it sounded a lot better. I don't hear the clipping anymore on the BTR7, but it does sometimes come back, so I don't know what the fuck is going on. One minute it brings me tears of joy, and the next minute it just brings me tears and pain and a lot of it. But how bad is the channel imbalance? Yes. It's obvious. There's just no way around that. I can definitely hear it from artists like Kendrick, Tyler, Brockhampton, very low-end heavy songs. But then when I switch tracks, it's completely fine and I don't hear it anymore. Indie, ballads, bands, or even pop are actually fine, so genres with a broader dynamic range or less low-end emphasis tend to do perfectly fine. So it's very hard to rate the Diva's bass because my unit just has a very bad imbalance, but if I were to describe it in 2 words, BA bass. Wait, that's 3 words. Just like most high-quality BA sets, the bass is well-controlled, clean, fast, well-separated, but it's not going to have the same note weight, slam, tactility, or just impact as a dynamic driver, or even the quartet, which is 15 times less. So to my bass heads watching, don't even think about it. Save your money. Now, of course, the huge disclaimer is that I'm not sure if the bass quality is affected by the clipping and imbalance, which is why I reached out to Lee, the founder of Elysian Acoustic, for a replacement. And this is where the real nightmare begins. So I showed you guys the graph, but the cherry on top is the box. You can't make this shit up. Now, to be fair to Lee, I did purchase my set off of Head5 because everything was out of stock and the wait time was horrendous. So maybe, potentially, someone else caused this issue, but I am fully aware that QC and Chifi does not get along very well. Throughout my journey here, I also had my fair share of duds here and there, but from my personal experience, IEMs who have channel imbalances usually comes with the channel imbalance from QC and not caused otherwise. I also talked to some other people on Discord and this seems to be a reoccurring issue. To give you guys some context, Michael Bruce, who's an audio reviewer, has been recently making his own IEMs, and each of them comes with a graph, and they cost $250, which is like $1,000 cheaper. So I just don't understand why there's no graph with the Diva. So with that context, now it just seems a bit laughable. It feels like I'm getting pranked that a $1,600 set has channel imbalance this bad and doesn't come with a graph. It's not funny. Like, look, I can let it slide if we're talking about like a Moondrop Corks or like a Cadenza or even a $50 set, but this is $1,600. In the budget realm, companies are operating on very thin margins, so I can kind of understand, but regardless, that doesn't justify poor quality QC anyways. Now, luckily my Diva still had warranties, so I asked Lee to cover the shipping expenses so I can get them fixed, which seemed fair to me because it doesn't make sense for the customer to pay for your own mistakes, right? But no. Lee hit me with that policy card. According to our warranty, buyer covers shipping. I do not see problem with our terms and conditions. Apple doesn't cover shipping in Malaysia. Lee, you're not Apple. Maybe Samsung if you're lucky. And your policies doesn't really make sense because not all your customers are based in Malaysia. So it doesn't make sense to me that you're operating based off of Malaysian standards. I feel like you should consider expanding your policy so it has a more international outreach if you want to grow. If I was a new company like Elysian and I'm trying to build and establish myself with my customers and build loyalty, and one of my products causes major disappointment as well as inconvenience, then I'll just be like, yo, my bad. Let me get that for you. Because shipping and fixing it is going to cost at least 1 month. So you should just be like Elysian Audio, but more on that later. Now to be 100% clear, Elysian did agree to fix my Diva, but they just want me to pay for shipping. Now I don't mind covering shipping. I already dished out over $1,000, so some extra shipping cost isn't the issue here. The problem is that you ruin your customer's first initial impression of your brand, and instead of trying to work things out and make things better, you just point to your policy. Not only did you deliver a bad first impression and product experience, but also a bad customer experience. I mean, it's also just smart and good PR because if you treat your customers well, they're more likely to recommend your product to other people, for example, Elysian Audio. But surprise, that didn't happen, so now I'm making this video. If you're going to print never compromise on your box and label yourself or create this brand of high quality, then your products should also not have channel imbalances and clipping because then you're compromising. A great product is not only the hardware, but also the customer experience and everything as a whole. Instead of me recommending you guys to others and be like, wow, Elysian's products and customer service are amazing. Now I'm like, I don't know. And I'm not telling anyone to go boycott Elysian. Please do not do that, guys. But the community deserves to know what you're getting into if you do want to go with Elysian. I'm being very blunt because I hope Elysian can fix this because they make great products and I want to actually buy the products without having to coin flip channel imbalance. So Lee, if you're watching this, please comment below, drop your comment, I'll pin your comment, and then we can have a conversation from there. Because technically, Elysian did nothing wrong. They followed their policy. It was under the warranty that, you know, customers cover shipping, blah, 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 right? But that's not the point now, is it? Let me drive this home with the Elysian Audio story. So a friend of mine recently bought the new Elysian Audio and Symphonium Helios collab, and his set came with a minor dent, scratch, cosmetic damage from the shipping. And it came with a graph, by the way. The owner, Ahmed, or sales rep, saw this on Hi-Fi Guides and reached out to him personally and voluntarily offered a replacement. No hassle, none of this, but according to our warranty and policy. No, he just said, yo, our bad, here's a new set on us. It's really not that hard. Now, my friend's cosmetic damage was way less than the damage on my Diva from the imbalance and clipping, so Ahmed actually had more justification to just say, oh, yeah, but according to our warranty, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't do that because he cared about the overall customer experience, and he's just also a cool guy, I guess. Same thing from Mike. The guy literally does not ship out any glam drink unless it has pristine QC. This is a $250 set. Yours is $1,600. How? Now, I'm not saying Elysian doesn't care because they obviously do. Their products are very great, but their service certainly doesn't reflect the same commitment as Mike or Elysian Audio. And I'm not even going to show you guys the exchanges I had with Lee because it's just gonna make him look even worse. However, even with all this shit show, the Diva still gets an S- from me, and probably an S if it's not for the channel imbalance and clipping. And at higher volumes, it cracks the top 5 behind the RS5, the T, the EJ07, and tied with the DM depending on the song. If you want more info on that, vocal tier list here. But for now,